Future risers, present
Hey,
risers. Here we are. We don't have past risers because every day y'all supposed to be working. Hey, hey,
hey, every day.
every day. So we don't have past risers. Okay, we only have present and future risers. Listen, we are here again today because we wanted to continue one of our starter conversation around mental health. You thought we forgot. Oh, no, 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 no. It's near and dear to our hearts. It is near and dear to our personal development journeys. And even though we started there and we've gone down many paths, we wanted to come back. It's called a rewind.
Mm,
Absolutely. But here's how we're doing it. Brand new guests, different expertise. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
we said
yeah.
it.
We said
Mm-hmm.
it. We got people. Have we not proven it? Come on. Applaud.
Come on, we know more than 5 people, y'all. Come on.
Uh-huh. I can't hear the people in the back row. Okay, I heard the applause. Thank you. So we have a wonderful guest with us today. Listen, before we jump into Word of Day, Miss Sounds, she's in the building, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
She's back.
I
Y'all
am
know.
here.
Yes,
I'm
she
here, and we
loves
ready
this
to have
topic.
conversation.
And she
Yes,
loves this topic. Okay,
I
watch her
do.
sign. Put your shades on
Yes,
right now.
yes. I'm a
Mhm.
mental health girly. You guys know it.
She loves it. She loves it. Before we jump into our word of the day, we've got Miss Richland Fletcher with us. And
Yes.
she is a licensed, okay, education, hey, experience, and knowledge. What you talking about? Salute. Do it. Salute her now. I'll wait. Oh, thank you. Listen, she's got over 25 years experience in
Mm-hmm.
various healthcare / mental health, medical health service experience. She's been doing this thing. She's not talking about it only, she's been walking it. So she's here with us today. And one of the things that she does, she provides assistance and counseling, y'all, to clients and families. Okay, she doesn't just work with the client. If they have family members that want to be part of their success story, oh, she says, okay, let's do it as a family connection. And she's dealing with families who are dealing with social, emotional, and environmental problems.
Mm,
It's not one category. We keep telling y'all, all of these things are interconnected. And so
yes.
she's here with us. She's going to speak with us about it. We're going to have the sounds, do the word of day. But before that, here's some logistics. Did y'all see that our membership jumped? Did y'all see the subscribers jump on Raised Voices? Let me
That's
tell you
insane.
something. All of those international countries that are starting to figure out who we are supporting us. Where are my American, United States, and Canada people? You
Where
heard
y'all
me.
at?
Where y'all at? I love my international people, and thank you guys so much for coming on board and making sure that this channel has life, because we're serious about this thing. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, big shout out, big thank you, big hugs, a big love to those international countries. We would not be here without you. We
Mm,
also want to know, where the home people at? Where the homies? Where y'all? Eh? Where's my people from the city, from the different states? Where you guys? Come in the room with us and do the work. That's it. I'm on my
that's
soapbox.
it.
Sometimes I gotta come get y'all, because we're here doing the work. We're getting people that know what they're talking about because they're doing it every day. We must change our communities, but we have to activate ourselves. Okay, I'm done. Miss Sound, bring them back to the happy place, because I already started with your people.
She love y'all, guys. She
I
love
do.
y'all. She just let y'all know a little something, okay? But we're gonna get into our first segment, which we love, and it just warms us up before we dive into the conversation, and it is called Word of the Day. And what we do is we read a quote that we found that resonates with us, and we just all go around and share on first impression? What does that mean for you? How does this show up in your life? How does it resonate with you? So I'm going to read the quote, and we're just going to go around and talk about what it means to us. Okay.
Okay.
The quote is, "There is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't." There is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't. Now, Miss Richland, can you tell us a little bit about what does that mean for you at first glance?
Okay. Well, for me, hope represents tomorrow and the next minute. As long as we have breath, there's hope. And the brain can tell you, yes, there is no hope, or it's not worth it to keep going or to try again. But that's why we need people around us that would encourage us and remind us and even hold our hands towards increasing our hope. So that's what the quote means to me.
I love that. I love that. I was recently listening to something that said, the brain acts like a computer, right? It stores memories and outcomes that has happened in the past to determine whether a future is possible or an outcome is possible. And so it's often the way it's naturally working in your brain to just say, this happened last time, can't happen again, right?
Right.
But that if we kind of move from brain into body and have the two kind of connect and speak to each other, we can come to the present moment and be aware that, oh, there's so many things I actually did make it through. It is possible for me to make it through again, this moment again. So I love that you said that. It made me think of that.
They're starting with me already. Wow. I'm gonna take a different spin on this for me. For me, hope is having the thought to try again. For me, it doesn't have to be bigger than that. I feel like if my brain has capacity and a moment to say, let's try this again, that's the hope beginning for me to get up and do the work I have to do. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes when I look around, especially at our people, our Black people, sometimes I just see them sitting there waiting for a thought to hit that would get them up from their space. And I've just started to allow myself to understand that if I don't have support or I don't have the big plan or the big thought, one small thought that says, so let's try is hope.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah. That's where I'm at today.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, that's beautiful. The small try again. Just got to get up. Just got to get up and try. Yeah, absolutely. We are, I think we all kind of like in agreement with this idea that we believe that hope is possible, right?
Yes.
That even when your brain tells you it's not, that we have the capacity and the ability to still take the step forward. So I think we all agree with that, which leads me to my question for Miss Richland. How did you come upon this space in your life where you are helping people through conversations their brain is having with them and giving them the inspiration to move forward? How did you get in this scene of mental health and social work?
Okay. Well, I did not start in the field of mental health. I started, as Miss Azalee mentioned, in various other components of just health in general, mainly in the medical field, in the medical unit, working with pregnant women, working with just everyday patients that are admitted to the hospital for various reasons, whether it be high blood pressure, a diagnosis of diabetes, things like that. But as time progressed, I began to notice the disconnect between what was medically being told to them as a diagnosis and their inability most times to even follow through. So I knew a lot of it had to do, back to the word hope, them maybe not having hope. Of course, limited resources plays a part, but I wanted to help patients in a capacity towards increasing their compliance with medical issues or with their ability to deal with issues related to the pregnancy or not having the support that they needed. So I realized with lots of work and experience that a lot of them were facing issues with their thoughts, their behaviors, not being able to connect those things to the medical diagnosis. So those were things that kind of led me into the field of mental health.
Yeah.
And where were you in your own life as a woman? Where were you in understanding before entering into this type of work that mental health or emotions is part in resources?
Okay. Something that I always say is that I can only take my clients as far as I've taken myself. So a big part of my work had to also do with me doing my work and me coming to a place of being healthier and whole as best as I could be. And that's it's a continuous journey.
Yeah.
So the more I've learned, the more I have grown, it has allowed me to open up my understanding, awareness, and my need to get as much knowledge as possible so that I could help my clients. So I'm learning as well as they are.
Love it. Healthy boundaries. I love
Yeah.
that.
How do you?
There's a quote back in the day that I used to use in IBM, and it says, "Each one teach one."
Yes.
And that's sometimes where we have to start. And it might be that each one is us learning first, and then we teach one. Because sometimes, sometimes as a people, we get a little messy. We haven't learned our lesson, but we're out there teaching everybody. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let's not do that. So I love that that you said that, and I salute you for having the courage to say that as a professional, that you had to start with you first, and then you gave out what you knew you had. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I am interested in how you have conversations with people where it comes from a real genuine place and not a prescriptive, just textbook place. Like, what grounds you in the moment when you're relating to people in conversation, helping them through their mental health?
I think a big part for me is my gifting. I've often heard from clients, my tone of voice or my calmness helps to bring them to a place of being calm or trusting. So I'll start with that as being something that helps clients to engage and to know that this is a safe space to share anything with me and to know that the information will remain with me as long as they're not endangering themselves or others.
I love that. I
Do
really
you find
do.
people believing that? And of course, the reason why I'm asking this is because as human beings, it is hard sometimes for us to believe true health is in front of us, especially if your life has had the opposite effect of health, but has had hurt. So, different H word. In your experience with the clients that you have been fortunate enough to go down the journey with, do you find that it takes I don't know, 3 months, 6 months to, in most cases, earn that? Or are people so hungry for help that, I don't know, by the second, third week, we trust her, we're in?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's a mixture, and there are
Okay.
different levels of trust, right? It takes a lot just to even make your foot into the door the first time. So
Mm,
I would give support that even took place, right? That's
wow.
a major place to start. Most times people would come, start the process, and never return, right? Until they've been around the circle again of life to some extent, and then it begins to sink in, whether it's they're pressured to or they come to an awareness that, you know what, I may need to sit and speak with someone, or I may need to just go and get some information on a resource, or
Yeah.
I may just need to come in and just hear the support that's given, that, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to have some hope. I can have some hope. I do have some hope. So there are different levels of trust, and not by any means am I saying that they come in and because of my demeanor, they're connected and they would stay the course of treatment. But it varies. Most clients do not, because it is challenging work, right? To just come in and to get to a place of slowly pouring your issues out. It is not easy. So
Yeah.
most clients do not. But just to know that, I felt safe, or okay, there is a place to come to, is a big start. So I commend them
Mm.
for that.
For those that come to you, and like you mentioned just few seconds ago, this is not their first rodeo coming back to talk to someone or seeking help. How do you help them not feel ashamed for coming back around again, right? What do people gain from going back around that mountain again?
Okay. Um, for me, I would help them to pay attention to where they were the first time they came and where they
Mm-hmm.
are now, and help
Mm,
them to be able to verbalize things that worked, things that may not have worked, some strengths that they do have, and to support that they even came back, because it's a process.
Yeah.
None of us can really sit in 1 or 2 sessions or even 1 or 2 years and just pour everything out.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's a start and a stop process, right? A
mm,
start and a stop process. Even as a professional, I strongly believe in those who would allow themselves to also be in some form of help at some point, because you're receiving and you're hearing a lot of information and a lot of things are impacting you. So it's important to be able to process that, whether it be in therapy or at a support group or with close friends, but it has to be something that you're also practicing. So I'm able to relate to them and let them know that it's not something that you have to stay in, but I support that you're coming in back, and just help them to understand what are the reasons that they're back, because something
mm,
brought them back, right? So,
mm.
It's powerful stuff. I'm glad you mentioned the wisdom of, because you hear all of these stories and all of life from different walks, that it impacts you. Because I was going to ask you, like, when you're taking in all of this, it's other people's lives that
yeah.
get embedded in your brain. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do to recover? I mean, maybe recover is too strong of a word, but I'm thinking enough of this, because you've been in the industry for so long, right? There is some recovery you yourself must do. If you
Yeah.
could, one or two things that you do to sort of fill back up so you can keep being impactful, because there's
Yeah.
more stories coming. They're not going
Yeah.
to stop.
Right. Right. And the intensity of the stories increases, right? And
Yeah.
changes based on whatever is happening in culture or whatever the major mainstream issues are. So it's important to have colleagues that understand the work as well as you do, that you bounce things off. You use them as extra eyes, extra ears. Am I missing something, or this really impacted me this way? So that's been a lifeline for me, as well as I mentioned, being in treatment at some point throughout the journey of being a professional. That is important because you're hearing things. Like I said, it impacts you in a certain way. And I know it's easy to say, well, turn it off. Once you clock out, turn it off. But it impacts, right? Because some of the things that you're hearing, you might yourself have already passed through the journey, right? So it could be triggering to you. And also just a lot of self-care, whether it be time off, mental health days, continued training to know how to manage certain issues, how to deal with certain diagnoses, what are the changes in either treatment techniques or medication, just being abreast as best as possible. Those are some ways that I manage the things that I hear.
That's really good. Future risers, let me put a plug here. I need you to hear two things. One thing is this. For those of us who believe in God and who attend church, if you do counseling with your pastor and your pastor is doing counseling with his overseer, it's similar to what she's saying. It's the same thing. So don't hear what she's saying and think, well, if my counselor need a counselor, that ain't gonna work. we all need it, you know what I mean? I just felt it within my spirit to mention that it's the same thing. So let's be careful if you have that thought developing. Let's stop it, right? It is important for someone who's in a leadership role, and what she does is a leadership role because in that room, she's considered the person leading most of the conversation, even though she's doing a lot of listening, right? So it's the same thing. Your pastor should have someone he's talking to when he has to deal with everything that the church is bringing, just to keep him to be the sane man and a good leader. So I just wanted to kind of stop any negative thought or judgment there. That come on, let's not do that at all. Teachers in the school have the principal to go and talk to about certain things that's not working well in the classroom. Same thing. Okay, I want y'all to relax.
And that is so important because for me, I can identify back to a question that Ms. Sounds mentioned before, but I can identify with what it's like to sit across from someone, right? So that's a way that I can help engage them. If I'm doing things kind of like mechanical or I'm distant, right, then I know what that's like when I receive that type of treatment, right? So those are things that helps me. I can let them know that just sitting there, I know what it's like, or that the sense of being vulnerable, being in a strange place, and having to be asked personal questions, that it's okay, it's okay.
Well, I like that. Miss Sounds, go ahead. This is good.
Yeah, no, it's really good because I know the struggle for mankind in general is vulnerability. Like nobody wants to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to put their real true feelings and self out there for fear of judgment, just fear of not feeling like it will be received well by the person on the other end. When you notice that, right? When someone comes in and you notice like, there's definitely some walls here. What techniques do you employ to sort of not manipulative techniques, but techniques to sort of warm people up, get them to feel safe in your presence?
Yeah, well, a major one I would say is allowing myself to listen, right? There's information in anything that's being said or not said. Body language is giving me information. Tone of voice is giving me information. The reason you came in, for example, if you're told by your spouse, you have to, that's giving me information. So whatever information is said or not said, that is what I would use to help them to get to a place of, oh, okay, she's interested in hearing about my ride to the office today, right? Because I'm learning, even though you may not be telling me about what's going on at home, but I'm gathering information. Okay, you felt the bus driver was fair to you. You felt the lady in the bus was sitting too close, or the bus driver was driving at a pace that caused me to be late. I'm getting information. Okay. And that is what I will use to help them to get to a place of opening up a little bit more. So it's never about coming in and telling me about the most traumatic parts of your life. That could be an entryway, but it's warming up as much as I can towards that place.
I like that. And I do like that you said that, because I think for most people, when they hear therapy or counseling, that they feel like I got to come in and tell you all the dirt right now.
Right. Yeah. Here's my laundry list.
Right.
This is what I've been through. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm sure that some of the trepidation that people have, as well as what questions you're going to ask me, how much do I want to tell her? So thank you for saying that, because we do want to disrupt some of the myth that this is the way therapy is done all the time. Nah, case by case, counselor by counselor, it's just different. All the people different coming in, so the counselors are going to have different ways that they do it.
Right.
So thank you for dispelling that myth, because I know a lot of people that still feel that way, but sometimes you just have to say it out loud one more time. It is not that.
Understandable. And everyone has their own style,
Right.
I'm sharing what has worked for me, and sometimes it's a hit and sometimes it's a miss, right? If someone does not want to receive services, or they are having a challenging time accepting the need for services, it may not be the right time, and that's okay. But the focus for me has always been safety first, right? You may not want something, but if you're a danger to yourself or others, then I have to take things up a notch. But for the most part, if someone is resistant, I would help them to provide as much information as to why they're resistant, and help them to understand the benefits of a service such as therapy or just mental health awareness. So,
go ahead, Miss Sound. You had something percolating.
Yeah, something just bing for me when you were talking, which was that some things can be a hit or a miss. Right? Some techniques work, and some techniques be like, why did I even do this? Right? But how do you, when you are doing trial and error, I feel like a lot of this is trial and error, because everyone is different. People are different experiences, personality types. When you're doing trial and error, what is going through your mind as you're like, okay, I have a couple techniques, I have a couple stuff in the bag that I can pull out. Okay, I noticed in this moment, how do you shift? You know what I mean? How do you grab another technique? What's your process of trial and error when you're working?
I mean, a lot of the time it has to do with, for me, being able to engage a client, right? Okay. Yes, I can be using, for example, mindfulness or something that helps me to focus on their ego strengths. but for that day, that may not be the best thing, right? They're still, let's say, heart racing or mind wandering on what happened on the bus ride, right? My technique for that day or what I prepared is not going to be the best at the moment, right? When I'm noticing that they're still focused on, okay, why did that bus driver do that? Or this passenger was too close to me. I don't like closeness. So based on where they're at, they always have a choice. What is important to you today, right? Based on your goals. What is of the highest point of urgency for you today? So based on that, a lot of times I can prepare, right? And I may ask or I may test the waters, but then I have to regroup, right? Because this is what, I'm trying to help my clients with. How do you manage changes? How do you manage things that are coming towards you from various directions, right? So I have to be able to switch. Sometimes I say, you know what? With a child, we played this game many times. I see you're really good at it. You did well as far as how you responded when I won versus you. Next time, why don't we try this game, right? That's a little bit new for you, or it's a little bit more challenging, right? So it varies. Or maybe next week there will not be any games. Be prepared. We're going to speak about what happened in Miss Jones's class yesterday, right? So you adjust. You do have to be prepared, but you have to be able to adjust and readjust.
So I got a big question that might be a bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it's PG-13 because
Okay.
I think kids listen in, so I don't curse anyway, so we good. Okay. Don't have that problem. Maybe it's a bit taboo. Do you believe that mental health problems, not necessarily illness or condition, but problems, can be avoided?
Problems? What do you mean by problems?
So some mental health problems are stress management that are not working. It is not a condition. It's not an illness. It's not a disorder. It's a problem. So, so I would consider problems on the lighter side. Me, not the professional, just me over here, little lady over here. A problem for me says that there can be a solution, either 100% solution or a solution that almost eliminates it. A condition for me gets worse. That's worse. That's worse than a problem in my mind. Illness, absolutely way worse. Disease, the ultimate worse. For me. So problems, some anxiety and depression is not a disorder or a condition. It is a problem that could be an environmental problem. And if we change the environment or infuse things in the environment, that person can have less anxiety or less stress, or their depression can be more controllable or something. So with that lighter version of that, do you think they can be avoided? There's someone
avoided. Yes. Avoided is a strong word. I'm thinking avoided means that it would not occur, right? But mental health is a part of any type of health. That's a better way to look at it. We have our physical health, right? We have our dental health. Mental health is basically just speaking of your neck up, your brain, what's happening there, right? So are there things that someone can do that's on the lighter side of, let's say, back to the example of the person on the bus, right? Someone may be close to that person one day and it doesn't bother them, right? So it's one thing to have a name, label, or something put on a behavior, and then there are issues that just come up because there's life, right? We are going to react, right? For example, we're in New York City, right? So we're constantly I'm in New York City. I'm adjusting to people being close by. I'm adjusting to crowds. I'm adjusting to the pace of life.
Yes.
So does that mean that the day that my heart is racing, right, that I'm not managing well? No, it's just a natural response to what is happening, right? A natural way that the body is reacting. So there's one thing to be given a name or a diagnosis, and then there's a difference between the fact that these things will just naturally occur and your body is recalibrating itself back to a place of calmness.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I need to get one of them virtual high five. I don't want the one on this app. I need one that our hands like touch. That was masterfully answered.
I loved it.
I am satisfied. Listen, Future Risers, we're going to end part 1 here. As you know, we've been doing series where we have part 1 and part 2. And that's because we want you to have concise information that you can digest and then come back and then digest again. Okay. So we're going to go deeper. Yes, we are. We're going to go deeper on part 2 and throw a couple more questions out there. And then we'll do our rise and fall in part 2 because you want the spa voice. I know y'all like it. That's probably why we have more subscribers. Y'all been lighting your fireplaces and getting cozy. That's what's going on. So we want you guys to come back, hang in there. We also do want you to absolutely listen to part 1 all the way through, and we want your questions. We want your comments. Not only for you to subscribe and share, but we do want the comments, please. If you guys need to get to us, it's azalia777@gmail.com. Don't worry, website will be coming this year. Give me a minute. I'm working on that. Okay? But that is coming. We're going to have work from home jobs. We're going to have some financial investment things that are going to be on the website. So we're going to do all of that for you. And we're going to share events in the community. And of course, we'll have all the links to our videos. So there'll be a lot that you'll be able to do. But please comment until we bring the website. Fair enough, Miss Sounds? Did I cover it all?
Absolutely. Yes, you did.
All right. Well, listen, guys, come back. Get your ottoman, pull it out. You've been standing this whole time now. Get comfy. In part 2, Ms. Richardson is going to come back and we're going to really dig into questions that either you should be asking your therapist or your therapist should be asking you. Okay, it's a two-way street. So we will see you guys back in part 2. Come on back.
All right. Bye, y'all.